What's up, everybody? Welcome to Power Hour, starring me, Ron Harrison. Of course, the one and only Giles Tiger Thomas, all the way from the UK. Today, we're going to talk about Quinton Eriya, a.k.a. Quint Beastwood, a guy that we are both huge fans of. I want to preface that. We love the guy's shape, physique. We think he has amazing potential, and we want to see him realize that potential. That's why we're going to talk about what should Quinton do? What do you think? So I'll kick it off with you, Giles. What were your thoughts watching the last couple shows with Quint here?
I mean, obviously the Tampa, he looked fantastic, but he kind of struggled with his forms through the day, whereas Jordan Hutchinson kind of maintained it, and which we talked about it last episode. But when he came to Texas, I really, really liked the fullness, but I didn't like the condition. So it was a trade-off between conditioning and fullness that, in one way, it kind of did pay off, but in another way, obviously, it didn't because he didn't win. But I just basically, it comes down to the fact he has to get that combo right of conditioning to form. So I'm trying to think of another athlete who kind of like, I suppose like Ramy those few years. He was either, he was always, he was never kind of like dry, lean, was he? So, right. But you can see just by the silhouette, just looking in there. I mean, he's on the verge of that next level. But, if he'd had that fullness with the conditioning of Tampa, then maybe the results would have been different. But he's nearly there. He's nearly cracking it. But the thing is, people were saying, I've seen some comments, very disparaging comments on Instagram. And people were saying, some fans were saying, oh, no, I said, he's not going to hit that next level because we've been waiting for the last 5 years for him to do that. It's like, look, at the end of the day, bodybuilding is a sport of progression. And this year, he was better than he was, a lot better than he was last year. So as far as Quint is concerned, he has done his job. He has moved forward. But to get that fullness to conditioning right, no, he hasn't nailed it yet.
Agreed. So, yeah, I want to go to his to show that he has made improvements. I want to go to his
big time. He
definitely has, because that's the knock. Say he doesn't get any better. He doesn't get any better. So here's something he posted, which I think was last year's New York Pro, where he came in really flat and depleted looking at that show, and then he was better in Toronto. But from that to this, left to right, that's New York Pro. So May of 2024 to August 2025. I see a huge difference in these pictures. I don't know what it translates to in body weight, but he's definitely on the way to where he needs to be. He's just not there yet.
There's levels that Ron. There's levels to this. Like I keep liking. I mean, if you've seen any of my comments on Instagram, I keep saying he reminds me of where Samson was in 2022. He's kind of better than he was the year before, but then he's on the verge of that final level, which really is the top level, because you look at his shape, you look at his height, his frame, his genetic shape. It's all there. Everything is there. And it's just a matter of, can he do what Samson did and keep improving? There you go. Exactly. Yeah. This is someone who just needs to keep improving. That's all he needs to do. And if he can keep those improvements coming, then really with his genetic shape and his kind of size and potential, it's like Samson, it's sky's the limit. So let's see what he can do. But I think he's he's still, what's he, 29 still? 29?
Yeah, I don't think he's 30 yet. I think he's 30. So.
And Samson's 10 years older, so I'm not saying that Quinton, if in 2 years Quinton will be Mr. Olympia, I'm not saying that that's a given. I'm just saying that I'm seeing very similar levels of potential and progression that if he continues, then I see no reason. The thing is, if he keeps improving, he's going to keep moving up. It's that simple. Yeah,
so we're looking at Samson's pro debut, 2019 EVLS Prague. I think you were there, weren't you?
It was 2018.
2018? Is that what we're looking at? So yeah, to see Samson here, I mean, Quinton's already is more advanced at this point than Samson was here. Granted, he's been in the pro ranks a little longer, but I don't think anybody was looking at Samson Dauda here and thinking, wow, this guy's going to be Mr. Olympia, definitely Mr. Olympia.
Well, no, because I mean, I don't think Samson really kind of displayed what I would say is Mr. Olympia potential until even in 22. I wouldn't have said, if you'd have said to me, this guy could be Mr. Olympia in 2 years, I probably would have just rolled my eyes a bit. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you keep the improvements coming and they're the right kind of improvements and it's quality improvements and it's not just going for body weight and filling the muscle and bloating it out with insulin and all this crap, and just filling it full of oil. He did it the right way. If you can keep that progression coming, that quality progression coming, it just shows you that. Thing is, though, the taller guys, they can keep improving, even when, with the taller bodybuilders, they can, it's like, say, Hadi or Derek. How much better can they really get at that height? But someone that, thing is, he's 2 inches taller than Samson. He's 6'1". So really, he could be improving every year for the next 5 years, and every single year we could see a different version of him, and still people would say, oh, he could still hold another 10 pounds, he could still hold another 15 pounds. So I'm really impressed with what he's brought this year. As for I think he should keep going, but I'm telling you what, that Germany will not be an easy show.
I think he's doing France because
I thought I saw Germany. I thought I saw Germany.
I hope I'm right, because Germany would qualify him for the Olympia this year, and I don't think he's ready to do any damage at the Olympia right now.
No. He's not a top 10 guy this year, but top end in the next, if the progressions keep coming, he's someone who could go right to the top.
Yeah, I heard France, which would be the first qualifier for next year, which would allow him the opportunity, as others have done, is then he could take some time and make some improvements, because, I sound like a broken record, but I keep saying hamstrings and back, which is pretty much what we say about Andrew Jack, the hamstrings and to an extent the back.
Yeah.
It's just gaps. I don't think Quinton needs another 20, 30 pounds of muscle mass. He's not that far from where he needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think in those areas, particularly the hamstrings in the back, and the conditioning, he just got a little bit out-muscled. And Jordan's a great bodybuilder in his own right, but Quinton, I still say long-term potential. I see the most in Quinton. I see him as a guy with the structure, the muscle bellies. The height's never a bad thing either. It doesn't hurt. I could see him being Mr. Olympia eventually.
Well, Jordan versus Quint was like, the 93 Olympia, when it was Flex Wheeler versus Dorian. You've got two equally amazing physiques, but two completely different styles of physiques. But the thing is with Quint, he's got beautiful lines, and he's also a big guy as well. He's carrying a lot of muscle. He's got nice symmetry. Like you said, I think overall, he probably has got more potential than Jordan, in the long term, in say 3-4 years time, if both keep improving. That Quint could Quint could morph into something like quite unbelievable. He's, anyone with a pair of eyes can see that frontal bicep. And there's a couple of shots I don't like. I'm not keen on his side chest. I don't like his front lats, but I don't know whether it's just the way he's hitting it or whether his physique needs more of something, or, a little bit of a tweaking the poses. I don't like his side chest. I don't like that shot. I like his side. I love his frontal bicep. I like his rear shots. I love his ab and thigh, because the waist is so tight and compact. But he's got such a beautiful X frame. It's a really, really nice physique. But that, with more, because we've seen guys like Samson, take it to the next level and the next level and then the top level. So what potentially these guys could do with their frames and their physiques, especially when they've got such beautiful lines like Quinton has.
Yeah, he reminds me of Andrew Jack in some aspects. He reminds me of Tony Freeman in some aspects.
Yeah.
They're all taller guys with this little waistlines, little joints, the nice round, full muscle bellies. And it took both of those guys a little while to get to where they were. I shouldn't say that. Andrew actually rose up the ranks pretty quickly, but I just see little gaps that Quinton needs to fill in. That's it. I look at upper chest. I also want to see more upper chest from him. Hamstrings, and a little more overall size. I bet like 10 pounds at the most. Samson put on 40 pounds working with Milos?
God, yeah. Something like that, yeah. It
was something like that. That's the next question I want to get to is, he did this without a coach, which is fantastic. But I think a coach, particularly in the off season, because whatever he's doing, he's been improving. Look at that.
Ron, look at that shot, right? I put a comment, I said this should be hanging in the Louvre.
That's Mr. Olympia right there in that front double bicep.
Yeah. I can imagine, him holding the Sandow with the gold medal around his neck. You can see it even there. And that he's still he's probably not even halfway to where we know he could be. So I can say I think he should feel, even if he does, putting these European shows aside, I think he should feel very, very, very good about what he's done this year, because what he did this year was a hell of a lot better than he did last year. And it's a sport of progression. I keep trying to drum this into people. And if you're progressing, then how can you be failing? If you okay, so he didn't win these last 2 shows, but he's progressed. Samson was 4th place in the Arnold before he got first. Samson was 6th place, then 3rd place, then 1st place at the Olympia. So if he can just keep that progression going, sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah. And I mean, people think I'm crazy. Why do you keep saying he's got so much potential? He's getting beat. So there were examples of guys, Ronnie was getting beat for many years, a few years before he became the Ronnie that we knew. The potential was there. It just hadn't been fully realized. You could point to other examples of the same thing. Just because these people are beating Quinton now doesn't mean, Samson was getting beaten by a lot of people for a couple of years there too. And none of those people that were beating him then have a prayer of beating him now, for the most part.
Yeah. Exactly. Because like I said, it's because like when I look at that's why I can't really get that excited about, like, say, the one I'm probably least excited about for the Olympia this year is Hadi, because I feel like we've seen from 2017 to 2024. I feel like, what more can we see from a bodybuilder? What can we see from a physique that's been maxed out for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years? What's so different that we can see from this guy? But when Quinton came out of Tampa and he did that the Gilco footage, when he did the prejudge and he did that front relaxed and he tilted his, I was just like, wow, he is so improved. It's like when Andrew Jack did Texas last year when he first came out. I remember I was in the garden and I was on the phone. I forgot I was on the phone too. And we were losing our minds, going, oh, my God, he looks incredible. My God, is he going to win the Olympia? Is Samson in trouble? Is everyone in trouble? It's like, we kind of, but like I said, sometimes you can only really see that from the really, really tall guys. Apart from, say, like Derek Lunsford in 21 to 22, when he came out in the open the first time, he did a front relax and his waist was tiny and had that beautiful pop to his lats and his frontal bicep. And, but like their kind of progress is less, not as, it's more short-lived than the tall guys, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So,
and I mean, the only shorter guy that we see still making progress is Nick Walker, and but I do see his midsection seems to be getting thicker and thicker by slight degrees. Yeah. But that's where the taller guys have the advantage. It's so much more a frame to fill out that they don't really have to worry so much about, like a 5'5" or a 5'6" guy would, with that midsection getting thicker and thicker as the mass comes on.
But then again, you talked about Tony Freeman. I mean, there was a guy that always, even when he was, what was he, like 280, 290 on stage, got 4th place in the Olympia. He still could have held a lot more size, but he still managed to win lots of pro shows, do very, very well at the Arnold Classic and the Olympia. Like I said, he was 4th place in the, was it 2008 Olympia? There's a guy that, like I said, like Quint, you could say, oh, he could easily hold another 10, 15, 20 pounds, because Samson managed it. But he never really, he had a beautiful physique, but he still had a nice tight midsection. But we know he still could have held a lot more size. And, would that have made him even better? I don't know.
Well, so here's where I try to be a career guidance counselor for Quint, because I'm sure he's going to listen to me, right? But Milos, the guy that we had that most historic of podcasts with a few months ago, I actually think he would be a fantastic choice for Quinton to go out maybe for a month, stay out in Vegas, have Milos put you through those 2 workouts a day, hit your hamstrings and back 3 times a week. I mean, Milos is fantastic at putting mass on people, and that's especially problem areas. And that's the missing puzzle piece, I think, for Quint. Condition could have been a little bit better, sure, but he coached himself. I think any coach probably could have gotten him a little bit tighter.
I mean, I love the fullness he brought to Texas, but I mean, for me, you know me, I'm straight away, I'm going to spot the last lack of conditioning. I mean, his quads were still nice and separated, but when he came out, I was like, oh shit, it's like he said, he's getting it's that trade-off between conditioning, fullness, and finally managing to get it right. But I just think he's a work in progress, really. And like I said, he's going to, because he's young, he's fresh, he doesn't seem to have any injuries or, You know, he's kind of still in the kind of the beginning stages of his career, really. He's someone I think over the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to be very, very interesting to see if he can keep those progressions. Because if he's really, really hungry and he really, really wants this, like I said before, I think the sky is literally the limit, but it's all down to Quinton.
Yeah, no, I agree. I still stand by what I said. The most potential that we're seeing in these shows, with all due respect to guys like Joe Palasios, who was fantastic, Jordan Hutchinson, I think Quint is the guy with the frame, the structure, the muscle bellies, everything, because he's not done. I think these other guys are pretty close to maxed out. But the fact that he's been adding mass so slowly kind of tells me that he's not maxed out yet. Quint could still hold more mass, and it's going to look better on him because he has that the frame for it and the small joints.
Yeah, and I'm sure that he'll keep his balance as well, because he's clearly a guy that doesn't skip leg day.
Coming to Europe. Well, this just said Europe. Yeah, he's definitely not doing the Italy show.
Sorry, to be honest, I know that these shows are coming up, but what order are they coming in?
Okay, that's a good question. I actually have the answer. So, all right, everybody. So we got Italy Pro on Sunday, September 7th.
I'm sure that's the one he said he was going to do, because that was I saw a post with him versus Mark Hector, and I said, don't forget Theo, don't forget Lewis Breed, don't forget all the other, because that's going to be another really, really, really good show. Like basically like Texas, where there's 5 or 6 guys that have got the goods to win it.
Sergio Oliva Jr. is doing Italy too. He's looking
Sergio,
really, So I mean, I kind of hope he's not doing that one, because I want to see Quint get a win. I like Quint a lot.
He's gonna have his hands full with Mark Hector, mate.
Mark Hector and Sergio, they're not going to be pushovers.
Lewis Breed, I mean, that guy. I mean, I saw him stripped off at the that gym I took down Terence Ruffin to in May, and kind of did a double take, and I was like, holy shit. I mean, in person, I mean, he is an absolute monster. I know he doesn't have this prettier shape as Mark Hector or Quinton, but I mean, he's just like loaded with muscle, that guy.
Oh, I agree. But I still think Quint, unless Quint's off, Hector's gonna get him. I'm sorry.
Tell you what, mate.
Lewis won't get him. I don't think Lewis is going to be able to beat Quinton unless Quinton is off. Just that shape and structure are going to carry him. But this is Mark Hector last week.
I just hope Mark really holds on to that size, because I saw him in May and he was in very, very good condition there. And as soon as he walked onto the side, like I said, I just saw his legs and I was like, well, that's new. I have not seen. I mean, his whole lower half is better. Like his glutes, his hamstrings, his calves, his adductors, his quads, sides, separation, detail, development. It's like conditioning at how far out he was. I mean, he's really, really leveled everything up. So I'm very, very excited to see how he'll look next to Quint, actually, because I honestly don't know whether he's going to beat him, going to get blown away by him, or he's going to compare really, really well. So I need to see them side by side to really make a proper comparison.
100%.
Look at him there, man.
He's been in shape for a long time. So I mean, you do run the risk of flattening out if you're in that lean for months and months on end, but at least we're not going to worry about him being in shape.
No, he looks amazing. He looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So so the Europa Pro Germany is the week after that. Dennis James is promoting that. That's Sunday, the 14th of September. And then the last show before the Olympia for open men is France Pro on the 27th of September, which is a qualifier for 2026 Olympia. So, yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to do that. I actually would like to see him do that, because then he would have the chance to make the improvements and come back. You know, he already qualified for the Olympia. He could do like a warm-up show right before the Olympia, maybe Texas or something again, if he wanted to, or just pop up at the Olympia.
And the thing is, he did Romania in, was it 22 or 23? Let's say 22. Yeah, because I was there at the hotel with him. And so he's used to traveling and competing, because sometimes, you know, it's like competing around America, it's okay, you can get used to that. But when you're coming over and potentially spending a week or whatever like that, you know, and jet lag, you know, to have that experience, to know what you're walking into, I think it's actually a big deal. So I think the fact that he's got the experience of competing further afield, like, you know, like Europe, I think that will benefit him. But I just want to see him better than he was at Texas or Tampa. So I'm really, really, really hopeful we get to see the best version. Because say he comes in and his body's just kind of given up by that point, and his body's working against him, and then he gets like third or something, or fourth or something, and he's completely flattened out, his body's shut down or whatever. I want to kind of see him. I want to see him really, really at his best, because I want to see him at his best next to all those other guys, because then we'll know kind of how good he is and also how good the other guys are, even when they're at their best. I mean, imagine like Theo. Theo's done what, 2 or 3 Olympias? He's never been. I don't think he's ever been outside top 5 in any pro show he's done, and he's done pro shows. I think he must have done just about every single open pro show around the world. Wow. So you can't underestimate guys like that that have been quiet this year as well. And I've seen the updates. His dad sends me updates and pictures and stuff, and he always looks good. So there's guys like that people might be thinking not even on the radar to even come close to Quint, and he might completely blow Quint off the stage. You don't know. Like I said, we don't know how good any of these guys are until we really, really see them stood next to each other. So I'm really glad that Quint is actually having the balls to do this and not just saying, no, okay, well, I've had a couple of good results there. I've made some improvements. I'm going to shut it down. I'll go watch the Olympia, but I'm going to really prep for the Arnold or something. I like the fact that he's keeping going. I think that shows real grit. So I just want to see him get that fullness to conditioning absolutely bang on, because that'll be very exciting to see.
Very good. So, I think we've said enough about Quinton. Let's talk about Jordan and Joe. So this was your top 4, which was the identical top 4 as it was in Tampa, but the order did switch around a little bit.
Look at the size of Joe.
Yeah, I mean, Joe is just this. The footage that's going to come in a second shows what I believe the minute Joe moved up from 3rd to 2nd in the comparison.
I've not seen these straight on pictures. I've seen loads of pictures, but I didn't until I seen these now. I didn't realize the size difference between him and everybody else. I mean, he is like that's. I saw this footage from the side. I think that was one of his. Was his coach or someone do take this video from the side, sat with the audience? But like this, really, he's like. I mean, Joe for me is the breakout star of 2025. I mean, I did not see this guy come in. Yes, I was following him on Instagram a few weeks before, but he didn't even pop up in my head or flag up as someone that would be, like a top three first call out guy. But my God, he's absolutely proved himself here. But this Texas, those front on pitches, my God, he's absolutely, he's massive. Yeah. I mean,
he's in that Cutler, Nick Walker, in that vein.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this, but
I just hope he keeps that midsection, because if he's really, really sort of because thing is, he'd be fired up from this year, because he's gone from 15th at the Cali Pro last year to top 3, 2nd, 3rd place and stuff at the shows, like beating John Jewett and guys like that, and really being competitive for a win in a very, very, very high quality show. I just hope he doesn't sort of just completely go gung-ho and come back next year and completely ruin his shape. So I really, really, I hope he really thinks carefully about how he approaches this next stage of his career, because we've seen it happen where guys come out and they make improvements one year and then they kind of think that they have to do it again, and then the whole physique goes to shit. So I really, 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 really hope he thinks carefully about how he progresses now, because he's going to be a force. I mean, he already is. So I mean, imagine him with the right tweaks to his physique. Imagine where he could be in another year.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I want to go to his Instagram page in a second here, because he's somebody I think is going to win shows. I think they're already saying Jordan and Joe could be top 5 at the Olympia this year. They say that about everybody.
No, not this year, mate. Not this year. No,
I mean, he's all locked up.
I mean, I'm going to get. I was thinking about this morning, Ron. I think I'm going to get some real hate when it comes to our top 10 Olympia predictions, because there's going to be guys at their best ever that aren't even on my radar for top 10. But do you know what? When we reel off the names, it's like, okay, so is he beating this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy? If you actually put that question to these people that are saying these kinds of things, they're going to be stumped, because there's a lot of talent in this Open Olympia, and there's going to be guys coming in better than they've ever looked, and they're not going to be making top 10. And it's a real shame, but it's the Olympia. So, no tears.
Exactly. I mean, nobody's owed an Olympia placing.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we've seen it before where the guys are coming to their best ever and they're 4th call out, but it's the Olympia. It's the best of the best. So, and there's only 10 people that can fit in a top 10.
Yeah, exactly. And the top 5, forget it. I mean, sorry, we got.
Come on, that's locked up.
God,
Unless something really, really bad happens to any of these guys and something, or they pull out or whatever, I think the top 5 is, I think is pretty much a guarantee this year. I think.
But,
I might be wrong.
Let's take a moment to recognize Jordan Hutchinson for back-to-back wins, which is it's always a feat. Doesn't happen that often in bodybuilding. So he went from a guy who was doing very well last year. I think he was top. He was second to Andrew at the Texas last year, third in Tampa to De La Rosa and Foda, I think it was. He was top 5 in Chicago, and here takes it away. 2 wins back-to-back for 29 years old and headed to his first Olympia. And you called it. You called it like a couple weeks out from Tampa. He didn't even announce until that Monday that he was doing Tampa. So I think you had him winning Texas, and then once we found out he was in Tampa, he was your favorite. Yeah,
he was. I mean, in the lead-up, I said like 4, 5, 6 weeks out. I said this guy's condition already is like he's going to be on. So I could see the size improvements. I could see that because he ticked so many boxes, Jordan. Even last year, the only box he needed to tick to move up was more size, and he's done that now. He's put 50. I said actually on Instagram, I said, he's 16 pounds heavier. And he commented below and he says, correct, Giles. He said it was actually 15. He says, but 15 pounds and that's not filled. Do you know what I mean? It's not that kind of filled, bloated muscle. It's proper quality muscle that's evenly distributed to every area of his body. Every body part is better. If you see the side by side, it just looks like someone's just completely made everything look bigger. So, 15 pound, that's quite a jump, because he's not 6'7". So 15 pounds is impressive, but it's the one thing he needed. So I had no doubt that he was going to win these shows coming into this. So I'm really, really happy. And he got straight first as well at the second show as well. And that was a tough lineup, man. I mean, John Jewett. I think we need to give credit to John Jewett because he was really improved from Tampa to Texas as well. I mean, his readable bicep was unbelievable. I actually texted him because I've got his number. I said, mate, your readable bicep is out of this world, mate. I said, you've made some huge improvements there. And it also shows you how much these guys can improve within a week as well. So, and I think Jordan just looked even better than he did at Tampa to Texas. I mean, you could see just around the glutes and just areas. He just came in nice and steady. You could see like little subtle improvements to his physique that really, because you don't want drastic improvements in a week. Because usually, if it means you're drastically drier in a week, it usually means you've lost too much fullness and you come in flat but dry and kind of lean. But he kind of nice and steady. He probably just carried on the program exactly what he was doing, and he looked and if anything, he looked fuller. He looked fuller because he was drier and just harder, and obviously probably just probably buzzing from the win as well. So he definitely exuded confidence, and like I said, he's just a couple of percent better, and he did his job.
Yeah. So guys, check out his Instagram, Jordan Hutchinson IFBB. These are 1 year difference. Texas Pro 24 to 25, and it is dramatic. Wow. I mean, I thought he was good last year, but I wasn't thinking, this is a guy that's going to be top 10 or top 12 at the Olympia. But I could see him squeaking into the top 10 this year, which would be an amazing achievement given the lineup at this year's Olympia.
Possibly. Maybe
possible. It's possible. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen.
I don't know. There's a lot of names in the top 10, mate. These are going to have to get past.
Exactly.
I could see him 11th to 15th, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, they've got a very, very symmetrical Mr. Olympia right now, and maybe that's. I don't know. The thing is, you don't know how he's going to look and how he's going to look when he stands next to the Regans and the Sassans and the Tony O'Burtons and the what's his name? Mr. No Benefit. What's his name?
What'd you say, Mr. No Benefit?
No Benefit. The Brazilian guy, the Russian guy. Oh, Vito. Vito. I couldn't think of his name right then. His name completely escaped me. That's weird. Yeah, Vito. I mean, you don't know how he's going to look next to Vito. He might look smaller. He might completely blow him off the stage. You don't know. So we'll have to see when he gets up there because he's not done Olympia yet. So look at this. Look at that. Yeah, holy shit. Look at that. That blew my socks off when I saw that. I went, oh my God.
And I think he said he was 5 pounds heavier or fuller in Texas than he had been in Tampa the week before.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Which, I knew he was I know his physique pretty well. He looked a little bit flat to me in Tampa, but this was definitely the best I've ever seen him. And
Yeah.
he is, I think he said the weight. He was a 212 and he was 238 or something. 240. He was right around 240. So
28 pounds heavier than when he's a 212. So that shows you that he was meant to go like Derek Lunsford. You know, when his wife said he was eating kale salads and his body weight was still going up.
Yeah.
But I'm probably gonna get hate for this. But are those biceps genetic or are they something else?
They look pretty damn great to me. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to look. To me, they don't look filled because there is still detail. But I always, you have to question that because it's so commonplace these days for guys to put oil in their arms and their shoulders.
Well, I've got open guys blocking me now, and I've got them probably. They've probably got a dartboard with a picture of my face that they throw darts at every day because I seem to be one of the only ones that's actually pointing the whole shoulder thing and the arm thing out. But remember back in the 25 years ago, who were the first people to really start pointing out the guts that kind of really were kind of ruining open bodybuilding? But and then the pro league sort of said, right, okay, then we are going to start marking down for that. And if it looks obvious, then yeah, you're gonna lose points and you're gonna slip in placing. So you may as well stop doing it because the thing is, we don't want to see imagine any of the top 5 Olympia guys, coming on stage 20 pounds heavy and then their guts are distended or seeing like a really nice aesthetic physique, filled with like ridiculous obvious amounts of shit, then it's in their interests to kind of be penalized for that. So, but me, I'm probably just a little bit OCD with this now because it's what I'm becoming well hated for.
Well, I mean, we remember the hottie Chupin was it 2021? 21. When he came out with the really pointy looking belts, and it cost him the title. I think he would have won the Olympia that year.
There you go. So say he comes off stage, right, and he looks all disappointed, and he goes to his team and says, "Guys, what happened? Why didn't I win? You said I'm looking better. Rami's off. Brandon's not on. Why haven't I winning? I wonder who the person was that actually took him aside and said, look, watch this footage. I mean, I'm just imagining the scenario of like, oh yeah, the shoulders. Yeah, your shoulders, mate. You got to stop doing the, those shots the last couple of weeks or whatever. So if nobody had said that to him, nobody pointed that out to him, what would have happened in 2022 at the Olympia? 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place. Exactly. So when I point these things out, I'm not trying to do it to be a dick. I'm doing it because, like, guys, you need to address this because judges will see it. The thing is, I'm at these shows and I go out for dinner afterwards, and sometimes I'll talk to judges, I'll talk to officials, and they'll say, well, yeah, I'll say, what happened with that result in that class? And they go, well, you saw this or that, and we're not going to tolerate that when the other guy next to him didn't. So because at the end of the day, it's all about pluses and minuses of physique, because every physique has its strengths and has its weaknesses. So, and the thing is, these kind of things that look obvious, they kind of spoil the beauty of the bodybuilding. Do you know what I mean? I can see what Lee Haney's on about now. Sometimes when he talks about, sometimes we've lost the beauty. I mean, we've now got a Mr. Olympia in Samson that is big and aesthetic. But imagine if he came on stage and did something to physique that completely ruined his aesthetics. I mean, can you imagine how disappointing that would be? Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think these days, especially, there are no guarantees that as the reigning champ, you're going to hold on to your title. It's like one false move and you're done, which is the way it should be. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, look what happened to Samson at the Arnold Classic. I mean, he wasn't quite as good as he was at Olympia. He had a little bit of distension in his side shots again, which he kind of eliminated for the Olympia that he won. And his conditioning wasn't quite as good. And then he ends up getting beaten, which I kind of none of us saw coming, but that's what happens. So you have to bring your best to every single show. You have to bring it. You have to pay attention to all these little tiny, what they might see as minor things, but like when Hadi got beat by Derek in 2023, like his tan was yellow, his posing routine was non-existent, and his back was soft. So there's somebody said, I'm arguing back and forth with people, and they were saying, oh, these are minor things. It's like, yeah, but that's 3 minor things that the judges are going to notice that are going to give them an opportunity when, you got 2 guys that are literally neck and neck. I mean, I can't imagine what it was like. I can see, I think Nick should have won the Pittsburgh. But, when you're looking at it and you're thinking, okay, it's a dead heat between him and Derek, and you've got one guy with a tiny little tight waist, and then you've got the other guy that kind of doesn't. It's like, good guys, what do we really want from our champions? You know, you've got two guys, two completely different styles of physiques here. So what do we really want? Okay, give it to the guy with the small waist. Otherwise, it sends a wrong message.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Sorry if that's harsh, but you know,
we're never going to see a Mr. Olympia with a bubble gut ever again. I think that's
exactly
because they put a stop to it. And you know, if certain people, I'm not naming names or accusing him, if certain people, oh no, did he block me? What's going on?
Oh no, the pictures haven't come up yet.
No, what is that? I've never seen that before.
What is that?
I don't know. Here he is with Hulk Hogan. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very, very tight Olympia. We're still 11 weeks away or something at this point.
9, I think 9.
9. So it's coming. It comes every week goes by. It gets closer and closer.
Isn't that weird? Every week it gets less.
It's like every year I have a birthday, I seem to get older and older every year.
Do you know what? I've never been able to figure that one out.
So yeah, but I'm excited. I'm kind of bummed because unless some miracle happens, I'm not going to the Olympia. But this is going to be a very, very tight race this year. Very close.
Like I said, I think there's 4 guys that can win it.
So we know it's Derek, Nick, and Samson. I'm sorry, Derek, Samson, and Hadi. And do you think Nick Walker is a potential winner?
Yeah, I think Nick can. I think Nick will take 4th. I think he can take him. I think he can get him 4th. I don't know unless one of them kind of doesn't look as good as we really fully expect them to, and as much as they expect themselves to look. I think Nick could sneak past any of those 3 guys if something's gone wrong with their physique. I don't know, some sort of injury or something where something's gone wrong the last minute, which to be honest is probably unlikely. But I think he can be a solid 4th. I mean, I think Andrew and Martin could push him, but I think unless something, I've not seen anything on Nick's physique that is alarming me to think, okay, he's not going to be top 6 here or not top 5 or.
Oh, definitely top 4.
I've kind of got him around 4th spot. But like I said, I had Derek coming in and winning the Olympia this year. But now I'm kind of thinking, actually, I think maybe Samson will retain his title this year, and I think Derek was likely to be 2nd, and then it's going to be, it'll be 3rd Hadi, 4th Nick, 5th Andrew, 6th either Bonac or Martin. I think that's likely going to be the top 6.
Yeah, it could very well go there. I mean, Nick's got that freak factor.
Yeah.
He won't respond to me anyway, so I guess I can say whatever I want.
He doesn't respond to me either, because I asked him if he wanted to do a tour, and twice he's not responded. So
see, I thought it was because I do that muscle Discord thing with Matt, and Matt's made many posts about him, whether or not.
Oh, does it? Hang on. I was when I was okay. I shouldn't say this really. When I was in Amsterdam and I was in on the gummies.
Yes.
Which we bought in the shop. I got back to the room and I had a bit of a meltdown at Matt because he put a post about Samson at 13 weeks out, saying, should we be concerned about his condition at 13 weeks out? And I gave him a bit of an angry response, which I kind of vaguely remembered the next day.
I remember it.
Yeah. And he was like, what are you talking about? He came back at me, really came back hard at me. And I was like, 13 weeks out. Some remember the days when pros wouldn't even start their diets till 12 weeks out, and they'd be 300 pounds, a Napolon oxyed up to the bloody, oxymethylone and insulin, and they'd big, and they'd like 12 weeks later, they'd crush down and they'd be absolutely fine, or 250 on, 240 on stage. And he was Samson with like just an extra 20, 30 pounds, which for a guy that size is nothing. At 330, he's going to be on stage at probably 295, 300, like 30 pounds. And plus he wasn't really holding a lot of body fat. I had no cause concern. And plus I don't judge someone how they look at 13 weeks out. I don't think you need to step it up, mate. So I just like, what are you talking about? And then he compared him to Nick Walker, who'd obviously just come off the back of a prep, who never really gets out of shape, or even puts that much on top. Because, can you imagine? Imagine another 30 pounds on top of all of Nick's physique with all that muscle. He'd have to be wheeled into the gym, wouldn't he?
He would be immobilized by all that.
Yeah, it'd be like Jabba,
Jabba. Yeah, but I still think he's my dark horse to win. I don't think he's going to win, but I just love crazy surprises and shakeup. Yeah. I hate to be that guy, but we've already seen Samson win. We've already seen Hadi win. We've already seen Derek win. And I'm a fan of all those guys. And, Nick's not even responding to me. So me kissing his ass here is not going to accomplish anything. But I would love to see him win just because he is by far the underdog.
Yeah.
He's gotten so much crap. Ciccarello said eighth. Remember the 8th place?
No, but do you know what? If say in a universe that Nick comes in and wins this,
yeah.
I mean, Bob's going to play it off as like, oh, we were in on it together. It was just to build hype. He's going to totally backtrack, won't he?
Of course,
that he's not going to, because I think he genuinely thinks that Nick should be someone like an 8th place if he's lucky, because he has his own views on physiques and bodybuilding. I get it, because I mean, Nick's not everyone's cup of tea when it comes to a physique, and I totally get that. I can see why you would prefer like a Derek Lunsford or a Samson but you can't deny someone who's carrying that much size, is in that much condition, has that much stage presence, that is going to be coming in absolutely gung-ho and going all out to win this. Yeah. So, and he believes he can win that as well. That's not fake. I don't think this self-belief thing is fake. I think it's actually 100% real. I think he thinks he can genuinely win this. And yeah, it would actually make for probably one of the most exciting Olympics for years, because I mean, you could just imagine the crowd response when Bob goes over to interview him. Do you know what I mean? Because it would probably be a lot of laughs and stuff like that. But it would make for a good storyline for the Olympia. So I mean, look at him there. I mean, he's a freaking monster.
The unit, as we say, he's just a unit. That is just some. Every time I think he can't get any bigger, I don't think he's added much. How much bigger do you think he is? I'd say he's put on like another 5 pounds over the past year or two.
Thing is, it's whether he's going to retain it come show day, isn't it? I mean, I've seen guys get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then those last 4 or 5 weeks when they really get down to proper conditioning, they kind of lose it. But we don't know. I mean, this might be the version of Nick that is supposed to be his final form. This might be okay. This guy was not at his full potential. There was still more to come. We might see something that was meant to happen. And the thing is, with Nick, he's very, he kind of strikes me as someone. Sometimes I think he's strong mentally, and other times I think he's not. It's depending on what he posts and stuff. But I think he's someone I think battles with the mental strength, but he's also got this other side to him that's it's very kind of like Derek Lunsford with his faith, in God and also in his own ability as well. It's like there's something that drives these guys, because when you actually speak to I mean, you and I know, Ron, we speak to the top guys, and there's that top 1%, and when you speak to them, they're just different. They're just a different breed of animal. The way they think, the way they speak, the way they conduct themselves. There's just something slightly different about them that separates them from everybody else, and that's what I've noticed in the last 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I really admire about Nick, he is a meathead through and through. He is a bodybuilder to the day he dies. This is a hardcore bodybuilder. He loves this. He's got the passion is just, it comes through in everything. I mean, look at that. That stage presence. It's almost like hostility. It's cool. It's fun to watch. He's a fun guy to watch. So
yeah, you definitely know when he's on stage.
Yes. So I wish him the best.
Me too. Yeah. Me too. And I could pull together a really good tour from him if he'd actually get back to me. So,
I mean, Nick, if you want to really expand, if you've seen these tours that Giles does and the crowds that come out, and talking to Leveroni the last week, it really cemented the fact to me that these guys should be building up their career after bodybuilding now.
There you go.
Kevin's going to all these far-flung places, parts of Russia, Poland, Czech Republic, Middle East. He was in Mexico, and everywhere he goes, these massive crowds come out. Mm-hmm. And so many times he says, guys come up to me, guys who are like 50, 60 years old, and they have their sons with them. And they said, I was your fan, and I met you back in 92 or 93 back at this Grand Prix tour, and you were so nice to me. And that's why he has this very, very successful supplement company now, and this massive fan base, when there are other guys from his era who are pretty much forgotten.
Yeah. Well, you saw when I took Ronnie to Budapest last year, I took him to Bratislava in Slovakia last year. You saw the kind of reception and the kind of numbers that he was pulling. And the thing is with those both events, actually those two events, but those were capped.
Wow.
Like the one, I think they capped it at 350, and the one for Ronnie in the theatre, that was a 500-seater theatre. And apparently the 3 or 4 days before, Ildiko, the promoter, said to me, She said that she said a few days before we tried to get an even bigger theater because I could have sold another 150 tickets. She says, and that was no problem at all.
Wow. So
in fact, you know, the guy that she partnered up with, he died recently. The guy he owns the SciTech gym. I don't know, I can't pronounce his name, but we met him in Hungary. He was he owned the SciTech gym, and I can only say his Instagram name, but yeah, he passed away. He died on a motorbike accident in Cyprus, actually, where my dad used to be.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's really sad news because we were looking to take Ronnie to Bulgaria, and she messaged me and she said, "Look, Giles, that's the guy I partner up with." She says, "I've just had the news now. He passed away." So yeah, really, really sad news. Lovely guy as well. Really made a big fuss of us, you know, and was very happy to see Ron. He's the one who went and got us the fan at like 3-4 a.m. for Ronnie for his room. driving around Budapest at 3-4 a.m. in the morning, obviously in the morning, trying to get Ronnie this fan so he could actually get some sleep because the room aircon wasn't very good. So really sad news.
I sleep with a fan blasting me in the face. I've been doing that. Oh yeah, it's like if I had a toupee on, it would come right off. So
well, it's 27 degrees here today, which is one of the hottest days of the year we've had. It was 23 yesterday. It was 27 today.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it sounds
27. Good. It's hot for UK. It's hot, very hot.
27. Well, let's find out because I don't. I'm that ignorant American. 27 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit is 80.6. That's
wow. It's 80 today in the UK. No wonder I'm sweating.
We hit 97 here yesterday.
Wow, holy shit. And you get like 6 foot of snow, can't you?
Yeah, we have extreme winters and extreme summers now. That's global. It's climate change. It's not global warming. It's climate change.
You don't start with that bullshit, Ron. Come on.
It's not bullshit.
It is bullshit. Come on.
I wish it was bullshit.
No, it's not.
Huh?
I mean, it is. No, it is. It is bullshit. It is bullshit. No,
we've seen. Look at all the tornadoes. Well, you don't have tornadoes.
They've always happened. They've always happened, Ron. It's called weather.
Okay. Well, you're a climate change denier, as my son would say.
I am a complete denier. May the 1st. I think it's climates do change. You know, the earth gets hotter, it gets cooler. In May the 1st, we had one hot day of 30 degrees, right?
Yeah.
And then literally all over social media, on the TV news and the newspapers, the tabloids, it was always like, climate change. The next day, 7 degrees.
Okay, well, I mean,
freezing and raining, 7 degrees. It's like, oh, come on. And then everything, all that nonsense just went away. It's like, come on, guys.
I mean, if you look at the average temperature of the earth has been going up, it usually takes hundreds of thousands, millions of years. We've accelerated the process through the carbon emissions and all that, the greenhouse gases.
How many billions of tons of ice have they just found at the Antarctica that they've just, is it North Pole or Antarctica? They just, so many billions of tons of new ice that's just formed.
I mean, if Trump basically cut all the funding to anything that would have preserved our fight to stop global warming or climate change.
They're going to do shit. Net zero. We try to do our government's trying to do net zero in the UK, and it's absolute nonsense. It's going to put people into poverty, bump up energy prices. It's an absolute con. Sorry.
No, I believe you. Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there with the climate change discussion.
Come on, bring it on.
So, guys, in the comments, let me know what you think Quint needs to do. Does he need to hire a coach? Would that help him? Is there a specific coach you think would be a great fit for Quint, and why?
When though?
I mean, he's
from now to the European shows. Are you talking for next year?
I mean, it would have to be after that. It's too late now. Someone can't come in now, but he's been on his own for the past more than a year now. He hasn't had a coach since Matt Jansen in May of 2024. So we'll see.
He's done all right, though. He's done all right. He's moving. At the end of the day, he's gone from there to there. So he's getting better. So it's whether you can go from there to there with a coach or whether, I don't know. I mean, it's you can't argue with the results because if you're better than you were, you could argue that, would you be even better? I don't know. Maybe, I mean, like you said, look what happened with Matt Johnson last year. I mean, that went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a tricky one, but I'm sure he's considering it. I used to get myself ready. I just used to have the occasional friend that would look at me every week or after every session or whatever and just say, look, how's it coming and everything going as planned, and just get feedback. You don't necessarily need a coach. You just need someone with an eye to, look at your back shots or, just to sort of say, you're where you need to be, in terms of where you were last week and now you are this week. That's important. So
I just wonder if Milo Sarshev could be the guy to take him to that next level, the way he did with Samson. I'd just be curious to see if that would work out.
Yeah. No, that's a perfectly reasonable assumption, and because obviously if he could work that magic on Quinton, then you've got a potential Mr. Olympia on your hands in the next couple of years, really. I don't know. I mean, somebody said, you people arguing about how long it would take, or 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, I honestly, if you'd have said to me in 2022, when Samson took 4th at the Arnold, I mean, he was in the studio here with me a few weeks after that. I mean, I probably would have had a few eye rolls if I'd have said, mate, you could be Mr. Olympia within 2 years.
Of course.
Because I'm not, it's like I put in that article in MD once, and I said, it's not that I didn't think Samson would be as good as he is. It's just that I didn't see it happening so fast.
Yeah.
Because his progression was like nice and 2018 to 2021, he was kind of getting a little bit better. And then 22, then 23, and it just went off the charts. And it's just whether that can be duplicated in somebody else, or having the same coach, whether you can duplicate those results. I mean, I obviously, because at the end of the day, all we do is speculate, because, we see the shows, we see the progression of the athletes, then you get something like a Joe Palasios that I just did not see coming, and that brings a lot of excitement. I mean, can you imagine what it'd been like in the 90s when, the first year Kevin Navrone, second at the Olympia, the next year, new pro Flex Wheeler gets second at the Olympia. Yeah. And it's like, stuff like that that's kind of what gets us fans really, really going. That's what gets us excited. That's what gets us engaged, because there's not, like I said, I like it when I do my predictions and I'm actually proved completely wrong, or there's someone, because at the end of the day, I'm like, yes, I don't get pissed off about it. I don't think, oh no, it's not good for my reputation if I get it wrong. I want to be proved wrong, because I don't want the sport to be predictable, because that means the judging's predictable. It means the athletes are predictable. It means the sport's predictable. And what's the point of following if in a year's time it's still the same guys, and they're all in the same order of ranking? We want to see guys jump over each other. I want to see guys at the Olympia go from 10th to 3rd or something. We want to see like a Regan getting first call out at the Olympia and he's like 3rd place or something. We all want to see that. Because that is like holy shit. There's like a holy shit moment. We've seen it so many times. Who was it? The recent show? Like a Joe Palasios that can, that can just like be first call out, and then they're fist pump in the air, and everyone's like, oh my god, this guy's really in the running. So it's good, and also takes good judges to do that as well.
Yeah, I actually get upset when I don't see people coming. Like, how could I have missed this Joe Palasios guy? How could I have not known about him?
No way of telling. And the thing is, you can't judge. Sometimes you can judge by Instagram, but sometimes you can't, because the carefully selected pictures, the Photoshop, the filters. It's very, it's very, 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 very difficult to tell. That's why the whole veto thing kicked off, because it was like, it's like, you're saying he's going to be a top 6 guy, and it's like, because you're basing it off one good picture that you've seen, which in reality, when you see the video from that same time, and you think, oh, he's not quite looking the same there. It's but like I said, it's what makes the sport interesting to follow. Otherwise, what's the point?
I agree. All right, so with that, we will wrap it up. Guys, leave your comments, questions, insults, anything, like stock tips, whatever you want in those comments. I'm here for it. It's good for the algorithm, so please comment away, even if you just want to rip me a new one, or say Giles is a hater, whatever. It's all good. We'll look at it, laugh, respond. We're good sports.
I'm not. I hate it. It keeps me up at night.
It used to keep me up at night. I've gotten a lot better.
No, I don't know. To be honest, I mean, I find my algorithm on things like Instagram and Facebook now really don't like me, because some of this weird stuff that's coming up and some of the idiots that are coming on. I think people are getting worse. I think people are getting worse with how they conduct themselves on social media, because they spend so much time on social media, not in the real world, because you wouldn't speak to, the way that react to things. Like, you can make a perfectly reasonable, polite comment, and then they'll still take it the wrong way. And it's like, so I'll take
umbrage. I've been waiting to use the word umbrage for weeks now. I'll take umbrage at it. But no, I agree. People, social media has created a whole generation of people who will say anything online that they would never say to you in person, because they have that anonymity and the keyboard warrior mentality.
Yeah, but Ron, they get used to it, and they think in their mind genuinely that they would actually say that to that person's face, and they wouldn't, unless they've got like autism or something, where they're socially awkward, where they say things that they wouldn't. Sometimes you meet people like that, a bit socially awkward, and they may be a bit on the spectrum, that say stuff, I mean, what's his name? The Stefan. He says I'm on the spectrum because I've spoke to him and he's very direct, which is kind of what you need in a coach. You want a coach who's like Patrick Tuor. He's very direct. He's told me he's actually lost clients because they can't handle the truth.
Right.
He's like, no, he said, Giles, he said, yeah, he's not working with me anymore. He's still working with so-and-so. It's like, no. It's like, yeah, because I basically gave it to him straight. And he couldn't handle it. So he wants to go to a coach where he'll be sugar-coated and supported and mollycoddled and have smoke blown up his ass, So it's like a lot of these, I mean, I can't believe that even 10 years ago, there would have been top pros blocking people the way that they block them now. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. That would do that. I just don't believe that would happen several years ago. But now it seems to be commonplace. One slightly, not even negative comment, but a comment that they doesn't like kind of make them feel, give them like a dopamine hit or like a little rush.
Right.
That's it. Block. You're done. Like I find that's kind of how I think that's how society's like collective mindset is heading now, and I think it's quite sad in a way, but it is what it is. And I'll still spend hours scrolling on Instagram or arguing with idiots every day.
Okay, I applaud you for that. It takes guts. It's easy to just keep scrolling and say, nah, I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. I think it's hanging around Lee Priest, mate. It's hanging around Lee Priest. He's teaching me to be a bit more combative and a bit more confrontational because he's got no filter in life or online. He's exactly how he is in life as he is online. I respect that about him. Even if you unbelievably disagree with him, he's someone that is exactly like he is in real life. And I kind of like that, because at least you know where you stand with people. Because then if he's pissed off with you or happy with you, he will let you know straight away and he'll tell you why, wherever it is, whenever it is. And I kind of like that, because I've had ambiguous kind of relationships with people where you think, is that person, you hear that someone's not happy about something and then they're nice to you and you see them. And I kind of like to know where I stand with people. So at least with I think we could, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I can't believe we should all be a little bit more Lee Priest. But it's true. At least you know where you stand, and it makes life actually long-term. It actually makes it a lot easier, and it helps you, because like I said, I like to know where I stand with people. Like Ron, like if you were pissed off with me or something, or you didn't like me for something, I'd like to think that you would just call me and tell me. I would tell you.
Not just build up that resentment and be annoyed with me or say, 6 months ago, Giles, you did this and you really pissed me off. Yeah. I kind of, I think it's, I don't know, maybe it's just the society nowadays.
Rant over. All right. So that's it.
Tiger rant.
Appreciate you watching. We've got a few more shows left in the season, but the Olympia is coming up. We'll be talking more and more about that as the weeks go on. So that's it. Thanks for watching Power Hour with me, Ron Harris, and the one and only Giles Tiger Thomas. We will see you guys